Right, next story, back to the economy. Senator Elizabeth Warren says the system is rigged against the working class. Roll tape.
The system is rigged. There's enough blame to go around. But there is a huge difference between people fighting for a level playing field and the people fighting to keep the system rigged.
OK, Peter, you saw that banner, socialism on parade. I've come right out and strongly and said I think the Democrats are now the new socialist party. Am I going too far?
Well, I don't know. The thing that frustrates me is when you hear that condemnation from Elizabeth Warren, what I don't hear is anything about the other side of the equation. Who is it that's going to create the jobs if you're going to have all these kids go through college? Who's going to employ them on the other end? Are you building a pier for them or a bridge? The only way to build a bridge is to have a capitalist society there to welcome them with great, high-paying, skill-based jobs. I haven't heard a word about that in any of the speeches last night.
I think the Democrat Party, as it stands today, is essentially like a European social democrat party. Essentially, I think America is being led towards looking more and more like Europe. I don't approve. Do you?
I don't think they understand where they are, to be honest, because if you look at the very first act that Hillary Clinton did, the very first thing she did was pick the centrist vice president, a good, solid, pro-business vice president, flying directly in the face of what Elizabeth Warren wanted, of what Bernie Sanders wants. And so when they speak, they describe this universe that no one can quite appreciate or understand, where it's free tuition and don't worry about this, and with no comment on how it's going to get paid for or where people are going to go once they're so beautifully educated.
You've got to pound the table, Peter. We can't have Europe coming to America. We can't have America looking more like Europe. You've got to pound that they are socialists.
You're plenty of Europe for all of us. That's great. Hold it right there.
All right, Kernan. Look at that market. We're down 75 points as we speak. Most of the Dow 30 are in the red. The headline speaker tonight, Bill Clinton, husband of Hillary. Question, can he unite the divided Democrat Party? Will they boo him, do you think?
I'm Nicole Petalides with your Fox Business Brief. We're waiting, obviously, on Fed news tomorrow. Today, we see a market that has started to the upside, up about 30, down about 100. Right now, we're down to roughly 80. This after record-setting week last week, though it's all been on relatively light volume. The Dow right now down 77. The S&P also pulling back. Here are some of your Dow winners and losers. United Tech and Caterpillar are winners, while Verizon and McDonald's pull back. McDonald's had weaker same-store sales and talked about a challenging environment. And also, we saw United Technologies beat, and that's why that's a winner. Other names that we're watching after earnings include 3M as well as Under Armour. Now, we are seeing Under Armour giving the slowest forecast growth in 6 years. So that's weighing on the company's stock. 3M also weaker. And then topping off the brewery deal is AB InBev raises its offer for SAB Miller. You can see an up arrow for Anheuser-Busch. More Fox Business after the break.
Warning, we're about to repeat a dramatic story, an awful story. It's from France. It is another terror attack. I'll start at the beginning. 2 attackers get into the back door of a church whilst Mass is being celebrated. They go inside the church, they take hostage 2 nuns, 2 parishioners, and a priest. They then execute the priest by, there's 2 reports here. One, they slit his throat. Another report says they decapitated him. They beheaded him. Subsequently, the 2 attackers were shot and killed by the police. Then, Ashley, I believe that François Mitterrand established François Hollande established an ISIS connection. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, they pledged their allegiance. Witnesses, one of the nuns who escaped, said that they shouted Allahu Akbar. They made the priest kneel in the church before executing him. They most certainly slit his throat, 84 years old. And he was filling in, by the way, for a priest who was on vacation.
That is just, that's so awful. It's hard to get your hands around.
Beyond vile.
It crosses a new depraved line.
Depravity.
This is depravity on continental Europe. A defenseless 84-year-old priest in a church. We know the 4 missionaries of charity were killed in Yemen. But for France, for this to be happening happening in France. And I think Ashley's reported the police knew about that, one of them, for about a year and a half.
Yes.
For centuries, this has been considered sanctuary.
Yes.
The priest is sanctuary. It's the place you could go where no one could touch you and you could be with your God.
Yes.
And for two people who are now identified as soldiers of ISIS to go in and murder an 84-year-old priest, that's no soldier in my book. If you want to kill a priest, you better come through me.
Phase one of the whole migrant story in Europe was welcome.
Yes.
Come in. That was phase
Come
one.
on down. Yep.
Then they realize there's a problem. So phase two starts. Hold on, no more. We can't handle this. I think we're getting towards phase three, which is get out of here.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then you've got communal fighting in Europe. And I think we're on the verge of that.
You have Turkey exploding as well.
Turkey exploding as well. Last word on this, Peter?
No, I just feel like we're right on the precipice. This could really go into very dark territory. People are afraid that the Republican convention was dark. This is as dark as it gets because it's going to be person against person. And as soft targets, you're exposed.
It's the soft targetry. That's what gets to everyone.
It's purposeful.
Deliberate, absolutely.
Yeah.
It strikes terror into the heart of Europe.
And for anybody watching, the message is there's nothing to prevent that from happening here. Nothing.
Regrettably true, Peter. Regrettably true. Thank you. All right, I've got a headline for you. The big speaker tonight will be